Good evening to those of you at home and welcome back to our virtual Dominion Energy Jazz Cafe. We've got one familiar face behind me, but the others, including a violin for the first time and accordion of all things for the first time tonight. We're in for quite a great music evening with Nuage Rhythm, early American and French jazz. I can't describe it any better. Let's get our ears listening.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Myriam Phiro and we are Nuage Rhythm. We are going to take you on a journey starting with the streets of Paris in an area called Ménilmontant with a song written by Charles Trenet.
Mais oui, madame, c'est là que j'ai
Thank you very much. This song featured our violinist Robyn Bauer, Simone Baron on the accordion, and John White on the guitar. For the next song, we are going to get you up to speed with the French language, and we'll teach you some very important words of French that I hope you carry with you for the rest of your lives. So it's gonna go like this. Every time I'll sing, ooh la la, very important word of French to know. You're gonna repeat after me, ooh la la. Sounds good? Oh, we know you, you got it. All right, here's a song by Cole Porter called C'est Magnifique. One, two, three, four. When love walks in and takes you for a spin, ooh la la la, c'est magnifique. When every night your loved one holds you tight, ooh la 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 la, c'est magnifique. But when one day your loved one drifts away, oh la la, and it's so tragique. But when once more he whispers je t'adore, c'est magnifique. When love walks in and takes you for a spin, ooh la la la, c'est magnifique. When every night your loved one holds you tight, ooh la 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 la, c'est magnifique. But when one day your loved one drifts away, oh la la, and it's so tragique. But when once more he whispers je t'adore, c'est magnifique. Ooh la 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 la, c'est magnifique, c'est magnifique. Thank you very much. Now that you are fluent in French, we're going to take you to the French Caribbean islands with a song made famous by Henri Salvador, and which will feature our wonderful bassist, Elias Bailey. Je voudrais du soleil vert, des dentelles et des théières, des photos de bord de mer, dans mon jardin d'hiver. Je voudrais de la lumière, comme en Nouvelle-Angleterre, d'embrasser les yeux ouverts, dans mon jardin d'hiver. Ma robe à fleurs sous la pluie de novembre, tes mains qui courent, je n'en peux plus de t'attendre. Les années passent, qu'il est loin, là je tombe. Je voudrais du Fred Astaire, revoir en la décoère. Je voudrais toujours te plaire, comme au long des golfes clairs. Je voudrais t'embrasser par terre, comme au long des golfes clairs, t'embrasser les yeux ouverts, dans mon jardin d'hiver. Ma robe à plat sous la pluie de novembre, tes mains qui coulent, je n'en peux plus de t'attendre. Des années passent, qu'il est loin, là je tente. Nul ne peut nous entendre. Je voudrais du soleil vert,
des dentelles et des théières, des photos de bord de mer. Dans mon jardin d'hiver, j'ai vu déjeuner par terre, comme au long des golfes clairs, d'embrasser les yeux ouverts. Dans mon jardin d'hiver, amarrant à fleurs, sous la pluie de novembre, tes mains qui coulent, je n'en peux plus de t'attendre. Les années passent, qu'il est loin, là je tente. Nul ne peut nous entendre tout d'un coup. Dans mon jardin d'hiver, dans mon jardin
Our next selection is a song that inspired Edith Piaf to become the great Edith Piaf we all know, made famous by Frehel. Mon amant de Saint-Jean takes you back in the olden days in Paris. I'll count 2 bars. Vie En Rose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Je ne sais pourquoi j'allais danser à Saint-Jean aux musettes, mais il m'a fallu qu'un seul baiser pour que mon cœur soit chaviré. Comment ne pas perdre la tête, serré par les bras audacieux, car l'on croit toujours au doux mon amour quand ils sont liés avec les yeux. Moi qui l'aime tant, mon bel amour, mon amant de Saint-Jean, je reste grisé sans volonté sous ses baisers. Sans trop réfléchir, je lui donnais le meilleur de mon être. Beau par-là, chaque fois qu'il montait, je le savais, mais je l'aimais. Comment ne pas perdre la tête, serré par les bras audacieux, car l'on croit toujours au doux mot d'amour quand ils sont liés avec les yeux. Moi qui l'aimais tant, mon bel amour, mon amant de Saint-Jean, je restais glissé sans volonté sous ses baisers. Mais hélas, à Saint-Jean comme ailleurs, un serment n'a qu'un leurre. J'étais folle de croire au bonheur et de vouloir garder son cœur. Comment ne pas perdre la tête, serrée par les bras audacieux, car l'on croit toujours au doux mot d'amour quand ils sont liés avec les yeux. Moi qui l'aime tant, mon bel amour, mon amant de Saint-Jean, je reste grisée sans volonté sous ses baisers. Moi qui l'aime tant, je le trouve le plus beau de Saint-Jean. Il ne m'aime plus, c'est du passé. N'en parlons plus.
Thank you very much. To close our first set, we are going to take you back to early 1920s in the United States with a song made famous by the Andrews Sisters called By Mere Bis du Chêne.
Of all the boys I've known, and I've known some, until I first met you, I was lonesome. But then you came inside, and my heart grew wide, and this whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I must confess you. These are the expressions that really fit you. And so I rack my brain, hoping to explain all those things that you do to me. By me, bis du Chêne, please let me explain. By me, bis du Chêne means that you're grand. By me, bis du Chêne, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. I could say Bella, Bella, even say Wunderbar. Each language only helps me saying how grand you are. I try to explain by me, bis du Chêne. So kiss me and say you'll understand.
Thank you very much. We'll see you very soon.
I'm sure that you all noticed my tongue a little tied at the top of this show. And it's because I'm absolutely spellbound by the five of you, for real. And I'm not normally this spellbound by musicians, but tonight I'm charmed, for sure.
Thank you.
Myriam, would you join me for a conversation so we can all learn a little bit more about what you're doing here tonight?
I would love to.
Right over here.
Thank you.
Myriam, thank you so much for that first set of music. I am just as charmed as I told you I was. And I think it's going to linger for quite some time. I'm really having a great time with you here tonight.
So am I. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Before we get into our conversation to learn more about one another, would you take a moment to tell the audience at home a little bit about yourself in your own words?
Sure. So my name is Myriam Phiro, and I was born and raised in Quebec, Canada. Born and raised speaking French. Haha, surprise here. And then I spent some time in Europe in my young adult life and went to New York, which is where I began my career. And here I am in Virginia. I'm loving it, loving the nature, the space.
We are all the better for it. I've said that to you already. Music. How do you get into music? What made you want to be a singer?
Well, it started in my early childhood, I guess. I think my parents picked up that I was, well, first of all, I was very reserved kid, like I was very shy, and they picked up that I was artistically inclined, so they enrolled me to some piano classes, and I loved it. I was really into classical piano. And so through that, I began singing, but always in choirs and, you know, in the background and not taking too much space until I reached teenage. And then there's a teacher that encouraged, I did some theater that would help me personally, and it really did. In fact, it changed my life. It gave me a sense of freedom that I think I couldn't find on my own. So the stage was where I felt the freer, you know. And then after that, I started taking dance lessons and singing more, and, you know, one thing led to another, and I came to New York to study performing arts because I did so many things. I was always interested in so many things. I wanted to study them all. And then I just started being a little tired of the waiting game, you know, and you go to so many auditions and then you get work and it's great, and then one contract ends and then you have to start it all over again, and sometimes it's months until you have another. So I started wanting to create my own work for those transition times, and now it's mostly what I do.
Well, it's beautiful. I'm so glad that it found its way to this program and to the stage and to these audiences at home. As you're picking music to sing, as you're honing your craft as a musician and clearly as a band leader, what are you looking for, and what sorts of stories are you hoping to tell?
First of all, I really listen to the music components of a song. It has to really reach me, you know, touch me. But the lyrics is really my first incline. You know, I like a song that tells a story, and a story that I feel relates to me to some degree, or to a character that I'm playing, you know. And then I just I go from there. And then, you know, it's interesting because if I'm planning for a show about a certain character in history, then the songs that I'm going to pick are not going to be necessarily the same as if I was telling someone else's story,
right.
You know?
Right.
It all kind of depends.
It feels like that comes out of the background from theater, from being an actor. You know,
Yeah.
I'm an actor myself. I don't often get a chance to speak to an actor on this program. I'm wondering what sort of roles have you played in the past that you really remember the best? And what is it about the stage that really made you open up?
Well, strangely, I was kind of always attracted to the roles that really had a lot of meat to them. You know, like the mean characters. Let's say.
Okay.
I like to play the mean characters, and my first experience on stage, I will always remember it. I was 13 years old, and we were doing a rendition of Notre Dame de Paris, like the Hunchback of Notre Dame story, and they cast me as the priest.
Okay.
Frodo.
Okay.
And that was kind of an awakening for me in a way, because I mean, it's a character that is very dark, but in any character you have to find humanity so that you don't start judging the character, right? So it was very interesting. I was really young. I don't think I was picking up everything that was going on, but I don't know. I've always been drawn to those characters like Lady Macbeth, the witches, like that type of characters.
I think I'm with you on that. I often have played like the romantic guy who's got to woo the the leading lady. But I think my favorite role was Edmund in Lear. Because I got to be a little bad sometimes, and I didn't get to do that a lot. I'm with you on there is meat in those roles.
Yeah, it's just fun as long as it's not real life, right?
Yeah, because I think I'm a nice guy. I get to be somebody that I'm not in front of a bunch of people who get to witness it with me. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Piaf, Edith Piaf. First, for someone at home who doesn't know who you're talking about, there might be one or two, not many more than that. But who is she?
She's probably the most famous French cabaret singer. I think people know her because of her very powerful voice, but also her way to translate emotions through songs, although she was singing mostly in French, until she had a leg of her career in America, where her songs were translated. But Edith Piaf is my greatest inspiration in becoming a performer, because she was such a strong, I mean, we're talking about someone who was in the 1940s, 50s, and, you know, through adversity, she was a very small woman. There was not a lot of room for strong women back then, you know. She really led a path for a lot of vocalists, a lot of performers. She really took people under her wing, helped them. She was very generous like that. But through adversity, and she had so many crises in her life, so much drama, she continued, and she just became the icon that we all know.
Icon is a great word.
Yeah. For
one Edith Piaf.
Yes.
The way you sing, you talk about how she is an inspiration of yours. I was telling you a little bit earlier that I marvel at the way that you sing, the way your voice takes on the French language and the French melody, the tone of the French music itself. And I hear a lot of Piaf in the way that you use your voice as well. Can you talk to me a little bit? My voice is more like a Fitzgerald, like an Ella Fitzgerald and an Edith Piaf. Can you talk to me about the different ways of using the voice and what makes Piaf's voice, as powerful as it is, different from other jazz singers that the American ear is more used to?
Interesting question. I think, well, it has to do with the era she was in. So she was singing a specific style called chanson réaliste, which is about like the reality of life, the hardships of life. So her voice was not very so-called polished, you know, it was like, this is it. And it was very, like, it came from like her belly, like, you know. I don't know how to compare it with other singers, because
it's tough. It's a tough question I've given you.
Yes. I think it's just so very specific to her. And that's probably partly why she is so recognized, you put her on the radio and you'll know it's her, But interestingly, so I grew up listening to the French chanson like that. My grandmother was a big fan of Aznavour, Piaf, Trenet, all these beautiful songs. But then I really became enamored with the American standards, the song from the swing era, because I'm a dancer too, so I started dancing, swing dancing, and that really brought a different world to my life, and then I started listening to Ella and Carmen and Sarah and Frank, I just loved it. Yeah.
You spoke about realism, how real her voice is, and that reminds me of, and polished, you said not quite polished, but real, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday, other voices that I wouldn't say are polished by any means. But boy, do they convey something real, something that pulls at your heart, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And to add something like the passion behind the French language, I think Piaf masters, and I think you echo very beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait for more of that. We have another set to come, but before we get there, Cole Porter.
Oh, yeah.
Different than Piaf? How do you marry the two?
Well, one of the things that I really fell in love with was through my journey, finding out my path and also finding out about the American jazz. And then I started stumbling upon songs that I knew in French, but that were rendered in English, thanks to amazing renditions here. And that really sort of sealed the deal for me, and that really inspired me. I was like, I want to go in that direction. I want to marry the cultures. I want to do something, of a mashup, if I can call it that.
I don't see why not.
Yeah. And Cole Porter, he wrote so many beautiful songs testifying his love for the French culture. I mean, he even wrote a musical that's not famous at all, a musical all about France. It's called Can Can. And in fact, we played a song from this musical, C'est Magnifique, and we are going to play another one, along with some of these bilingual songs that I was telling you about.
I'm really digging on the way you're weaving in English into these French songs. I mean, certainly you could have done the whole night in French and I would have melted just as well. But just to have a little bit of English in there, I think will delight those at home.
Yeah.
But you really should all pick up a book and learn something about French. It's a beautiful language. Ties up my tongue every time I try to say it. You can't even say it now. Did I tell you my name is French, actually?
Robert?
Yes, that's my proper name. Robert Joseph Fanon.
Oh, wow.
Is my proper name. I don't ever say that. I've never said that on the show before. I don't know that I'll do it again. But there's our French connection. As you developed as a dancer and as an actor, how much of an impact did your love for French music have on your studies and what you were choosing to look at?
I think that was always part of me. I think it just evolved with me.
Just always was deep inside.
Always, yeah.
The band playing with you tonight, how often do you all get together?
Well, the reason why I'm in Virginia is thanks to Elias Bailey on the bass. So he and I have been working together for quite some time, and the pandemic brought us here. He is originally from Virginia, and in New York, there's a big gypsy jazz scene. There's lots of French cabaret. New York is where we met, by the way. And so we just wanted to bring a little bit of that here. And I don't know, we'll see what happens.
The rhythms that are involved in the type of music you play are not always like the rhythms we have on the show for our jazz. Tell me a little bit about that. And without a drummer here keeping time, who is doing that work?
Well, our wonderful Elias Bailey, working really hard with his beautiful instrument. The rhythms, French music has a lot of waltzes, 6/8. It's very sort of music hall kind of repertoire style. Some swing. Like I said, I like to do some crossovers, so I love Latin music. In fact, I must have been a Latin dancer in a past life or something like that. I like to bring that into, waltzes, some gypsy jazz, chunk, 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 the Django style. Just a little bit of a flavor of several things.
How common in French music is the accordion?
Very.
Tell me about it. It's the first accordion we've had on the program.
Okay. It's quintessential of French music.
Quintessential, oh boy.
Well, of this style, There was a time there was accordionists all over Paris, playing, singing, accompanying themselves at a cafe. You just walk in and that's what you hear. In fact, a lot of singers even played accordion. Like Edith Piaf played a little bit of accordion. So, when you think of that style, that era of French music, it's one of the principal instruments.
I didn't learn until last night that you were bringing an accordion player with you, and I knew that I was in for an evening of French music. I knew that I was in for an evening that we were perhaps going to get some Edith Piaf here tonight, but I didn't know an accordion was coming. And I learned it last night. I didn't tell anyone here until they got here. And boy, am I so excited. I mean, I feel like I'm in Paris. I feel like you've transported me to someplace else to experience something else with someone else. And
Great.
I think you would have pulled that off without the accordion here, but that just a cherry on top for me. And Miss Simone and I have stuff to talk about because I need to learn about more what she's doing as well.
And she's wonderful.
Yes. As is everyone else on stage with you here tonight. And you yourself, Myriam. I mean, your voice clearly has worked before and is clearly very real. It is clearly very authentic to who you are. And I think what's charming me beyond your selection of music is the way you use that voice to tell these stories. I could sing a French song all day long, but I wouldn't have as much heart and soul as pours out of you. It must be the language that you start with.
Well, thank you. Yeah, maybe it's the language.
The authenticity of what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I really try to stay away from things that I don't connect with, from material that I don't connect with, and maybe that's why it translates.
It's a challenge, I think, for artists. My mother, one of her greatest lessons as a singer to me was, if you don't believe it, don't sing it.
Yeah. I guess as an actor, sometimes you are going to have challenges with that, but find a way to really relate it to you.
For sure, Mom's not an actor. She didn't have to worry about that. You and I had to find a way to sing these songs that somebody else wrote about something we don't care about and make it work. But here tonight, I think we're seeing a little bit of your soul through your voice. So thank you very much, Myriam, for that.
Thank you, Robert.
I told you we have some more. You and I have more work to do. I've given you a sneak peek at what's coming in the future, and I intend to have you back to help me with that. I think
that would be wonderful.
I can't wait. Until then, we've got a second set of music. Would you mind?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
C'est une chanson qui nous ressemble, moi qui t'aimais, toi qui m'aimais, et nous vivions les deux ensemble, moi qui t'aimais, toi qui m'aimais. Mais la vie sépare tous ceux qui s'aiment tout doucement, sans faire de bruit. Et la moi qui t'aimais, toi, 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 toi. Toi, tu m'aimais, nous vivions tous les deux ensemble. Moi qui t'aimais, toi, toi, toi qui m'aimais. Mais la vie sépare tous ceux qui s'aiment tout doucement, sans faire de bruit. Mais la mer efface sur le sable les pas des amants désunis. When autumn leaves they start to fall, quand les feuilles montent de l'automne, commence à tomber.
Thank you very much. That was a bilingual rendition of The Autumn Leaves, written as Les Feuilles Mortes in French. Here's another one of those, written by Charles Trenet this time as Que reste-t-il, but made famous here as I Wish You Love. And it will feature our wonderful bass player, Elias Bailey.
Ce soir, le vent qui frappe à ma porte me parle des amours mortes devant le feu qui s'éteint. Ce soir, c'est une chanson d'automne dans la maison qui frissonne et je pense au jour lointain. Que reste-t-il de nos amours? Que reste-t-il de ces beaux jours? Une photo, vieille photo de ma jeunesse. Que reste-t-il des billets doux, des mois d'avril, des rendez-vous? Un souvenir qui me poursuit au 116. Bonne année, cheveux au vent, baise aux lèvres, rêve mouvant. Que reste-t-il de tout cela? Dites-le-moi. Un petit village, un vieux clocher, un paysage si bien caché, et dans un nuage le cher visage de mon passé. wish you bluebirds in the spring to give your heart a song to sing, and then a kiss, but more than this, I wish you loving in July, a lemonade to cool you in some leafy glade. I wish you health, but more than wealth, I wish you love my breaking heart, and I agree that you and I could never be. So with my best, my very best, I set you free. I wish you shelter from the storm, a cozy fire to keep you warm, but most of all, when snowflakes fall, I wish you love, I wish, ooh, I wish, I wish you love.
Thank you very much. Speaking about love, I know of one song that, no matter how much French you know or you don't know, this song is sure to have met you at some point in your life. And it was made famous and written for and partly by the great Edith Piaf, my greatest inspiration in becoming a performer. Here is La Vie En Rose.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, me l'a juré pour la vie. Dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui bat. Hold me fast, this magic spell you cast, This is la vie en rose. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, me l'a juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi mon cœur qui
Thank you. So, in case you don't feel like you're quite under Paris skies again, we're going to play a song that pays tribute to the City of Light by Mr. Cole Porter. So he's going to tell you why he loves Paris.
Every time I look down on this timeless town, whether blue or gray be her skies, whether loud be her cheers, or whether soft be her tears, more and more
In springtime, I love Paris in the fall.
the bass. Oh, I love Paris in the springtime. Oh, I love Paris in the fall. Tell me, why do I love Paris in the summertime? I love Paris in the summertime because it sizzles. I love Paris every moment of the year. Why? Because my love is here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You were listening to Robyn Bauer on the violin, Simone Baron on the accordion, Elias Bailey on the bass, and John White on the guitar. My name is Myriam Phiro, and we are the Nuage Rhythm French band. Thank you so much to the Richmond Museum of Fine Arts for having us.
Oh, and thank you. I am still just as charmed as when this all began. Wow, someone at home just fell in love like I did. And I hope there's some nervous young man somewhere with a pocket full of a ring, ready to spend his life with someone he loves. This was really reminds us all why we love music and why we love Paris. Thank you to the five of you again. B.J. Brown, boy, you did it one more time. Thank you for setting us such great musicians. Dominion Energy for giving them something to buy a sandwich on their way home. Remember Tommy Productions for capturing it, and for Chris up there in that booth for making them sound balanced. They did the work of sounding good on their own. And to those of you at home, thank you for loving with us. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for learning from us. In Richmond, Virginia, from the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, on the Leslie Cheek Theater stage, this has been our virtual Dominion Energy Jazz Cafe. Je suis Robert. Bonne nuit. Au revoir.